Okay, so let's try this for quiz number 5. Frequency selective dynamics. So this is, yeah, I think that's the name of the chapter in the book, Frequency Selective Dynamics. I will often call these multi-band compressors. The basic idea of this is that usually when we're using a compressor, right, we're taking the dynamic range and making it smaller. This is doing that separately for each frequency range in each of the frequency ranges. We can have a low compressor, a low mid, a high mid, and a high, each doing separate amounts of reducing the dynamic range. The main defining characteristic is that it can work in both the time and frequency domain. Okay, so it can compress the low frequencies more in the beginning, less in the end. The high frequencies can be compressed when you say S's and not so much when you don't say S's. We'll get to that later. You may know what I'm talking about already. Okay, so yeah, so the first thing is both time and frequency domain you can manipulate with these frequency selective dynamics, multi-band compressors. Now you can make the same sort of thing if you don't have a plug-in that's a multi-band compressor or a hardware that's a multi-band compressor, if you use a parallel setup, right? You can send through an equalizer, you can boost and cut the certain frequencies that you want and not the others, and then use the compression on that, right? Especially if you have a side chain, you can send it back to the original signal and do exactly what you want. So that's the second thing. If you don't have it, you can set up a parallel setup and do this. So well, why should we bother doing this in the first place? Why can't I just compress things normally? And that is because we can get a much narrower bandwidth, right? We can focus in on exactly a sound that we want to compress, that we want to get rid of, or that we want to accent, or we want to bring out of the mix, or we want to hide in the mix, right? Any of these things that we can do instead of doing the whole frequency range from 20 to 20K, we can just pick a section then. So yeah, the one that we've used in the past that is already set up for you that you don't have to think about so much is the de-esser, right? That's the high frequencies over here, right? It's just looking to compress when the singer S's too hard and we hear that, and we don't want that to cut through so much. Just react to the high frequencies, sometimes just to reduce the high frequencies. Now the thing about that is if you're using a de-esser, use it at the end of the chain, okay? It's going to be much better if you do all your normal processing and then at the end add your de-esser, right? I've done this many times in the past because I had a thing where I would put the condenser mic too close trying to get proximity effect and ended up getting a lot of and so then I would put the de-esser on it and then I'd lose high frequencies and I'd have an EQ at the end trying to make up the high frequencies that I had just taken away with the de-esser. Would have been all better if I put the de-esser at the end of the chain, right? This whole time I've been focusing on compressors, right? Making the dynamic range smaller. Now, obviously, with the technology, you can also make the dynamic range larger, right? Why would I want to do that? As a noise gate, right? If you've got a rumbly noise that you don't like in the low frequency, instead of using a high-pass filter, you may want those low frequencies in some parts and not in others, and so you could use a multi-band noise reduction, okay? Multi-band noise reduction, just using it when to get rid of sounds that you don't want at some points, right? Again, instead of using it as a split-up compressor, use it as a split-up expander or a gate. So And if you don't remember expanders and gates, I'll be rerunning audio 1 in the fall, and you can sign up for that again. No, just selective frequency selective dynamics, right? De-essers, multiband compressors, multiband expanders, those sorts of things. Okay, that should be good enough to cover what we've got in the quiz. So please go ahead and take the quiz. And I haven't decided which Pensado's place I'm going to put up next, but please watch that and give an insightful comment to show me that you have done that. The other thing to either tell you about or remind you about is that in this feed that we're here now, I have put way up there at the very top a help me section for questions, right? If you're having trouble downloading the audio, or it's not working, or if Reaper is being ugly to you, or Pro Tools just won't work, right? Put the questions up there. I'll see if I can get to it. If I can't, maybe one of the other students in the class can. Yeah, so that's, we will try that. And I think that's it. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope this was recording.